Good evening to all and thanks. This time I will speak horribly dirty things where happen and the time is sore. So I show you now the baby to seize me, and I will start directly by giving you the background information. Just a moment. Look, Mena Antonia Alexandrina, she didn't know what happened, but she was in very danger too, as Japan was in very big danger. Just a moment, please. And protect your children, because the future of your children was in very danger. Just a moment. I will start now by giving you the background information you may know, but it's time to act firmly now. It was about a putsch attempt, a staked cup attempt, about huge betrayal, and you could lose almost all you had and abuse your freedom and even the existence of Japan. After the close, I'm going to take a look at the recent development of situation, because you must go again to elections, and I want to advise you from all my heart, sincerely, go to many possible. Go almost all if you can. Let your families know about the election and go with them, because it's no joke. It's about your future, and vote with your heart. I alone cannot defend Japan without your cooperation. Even more after the Chinese, who wanted pathetic to annex Japan and still want by throwing it in war, after they sent you a robot then to be appointed as General Samurai. So I cannot be General Samurai too. Things are going too far, as you see, or as you will. No, I told you, I warned you for a long time that your former emperor, my former traitor's husband, wanted to destroy Japan by giving the country as gift to be annexed through war by Russia and enslaved, because the godfather of your traitor, former emperor, and my former husband, his godfather, I repeat, was Putin, directly Putin, and he was baptized by religious mob Kirill. He wanted Japan enslaved totally by them, not only Kurile. And seeing I can do nothing, not even in vain, I tried in vain to warn you at least. I tried to warn you since he was leader, but I was not able to do, I was not allowed, no one broadcasted. I wanted to say how you were prepared for that, being fooled through the dictatorship under his gaze, and by the actor Sota Higurashi working with him, and for the evil local group, the slave of Russia, having behind him directly Putin and your traitor emperor, his friend, who, while that, killed Haydn, since Sota Higurashi late, your former emperor killed Haydn. Many Japanese young in good faith, not only Empress Michiko, Fumiko, and Daiko, as he did before. So, as you know, I annulled the marriage and remarried with the military, but the occult group tried to use my late husband at the request of your former emperor and my former husband, kidnapping and inserting him intelligent blood and being under thought control proceedings to lead without any quality a fake G7. G7, I repeat, doesn't exist for real. It's only an alliance of deceptions. Their leader are dead, and is a fake alliance of robots and impersonators who represent nobody than the evil local group. No country using names of dead leaders without any juridical abilities through dead and usurping of official qualities to plunder the country which they don't represent but want to deceive, and want also to create war under appearance of officiality like that. Japan has no deal with such deceivers, but simply the fact that they try to use my late husband without quality to take decisions, chipped in that fake group to create war under appearance deceiving of officiality and plunder a country, provoking war too, and stealing public wealth of the occult group in the name of such G7 and protecting even the calculated hidden of Ukraine, whose leaders Zelensky and Putin were in deal, and people die for their calcul, and not only for their calcul, but for the calcul of all pawns of the occult evil group, who now from all the countries on the world support that war. You may occur again. There are many countries of the world who support the evil occult group, even that all is a fake, all is a calculated deal as the war of Ukraine, but people die without to know about such calculus. And so the fake G7, there are many other international organizations full of substitutes, deceivers, humanoid robots, impersonators, representing no country than the own interest of the evil local group, and plundered countries and create war with official deceiving appearance of such organizations, who for a long, although old, they doesn't are the same ones, and doesn't fulfill anymore their initial purpose, because the one who founded them and represented for real countries are dead, and now are instead deceivers without legitimacy, impersonators of dead official whose dead was lack of given to them, lack of any juridical abilities, and even if it's kept secrets or not, doesn't matter that. Juridical abilities for them, zero, being dead. But the substitutes use their name, making theft of identity and usurping of official quality to plunder the country and to create war. So they deceive and try to create war according to the wish of and own interest of the evil local group. You may occur so how fake are such aliens and how they use such fakes to give deceiving appearance of legitimacy through deception for their impersonator and humanoid robots for plundering the people, the public wealth of the country and creating war. So, about him they hijacked. About my husband, they hijacked, I remember you, in Russia, the airplane with my late husband coming home and pursued without ship, coming home and pursued and chased him with Russian army, trying to kidnap him again, to insert him again microchips, to use him as robot to throw Japan in war, because his chips insert were before taken out and he was coming home but was hijacked in Russia for that. And they didn't manage to destroy Japan through him. He died while he was pursued. Then Russia passed the baton to China to annex Japan because both those countries are led by illegitimate substitutes, pawns, big pawns of the evil local group, and work both countries for the evil group, not for the countries they claim they rule, but they use, and their people suffer too, and are strong helped by all the pawns of evil local group who lead through deception and through impersonator, humanoid robots, and directly, in some cases, by mob, such countries who are used and support them. And South Korea too worked strongly to keep Japan in deceptions and to be annexed firstly by Russia and after by China, especially through the many relatives of traitor Yong, who staged his own death in 2016 and proposed to do crimes while that abroad. And he was good friend with your former emperor, and who died for real after he died before, and your former leader, my former husband, to do staging his own death like him. He died for real only a month after my husband died, hijacked and pursued like a dog by the Russian pawn of the evil local group with army. Because many relatives of the traitor and religious mob from North Korea, but with relative and in South Korea, Yong are in press and religious mobs were working for the evil local group, and South Korea want to annex to North Korea. And after Russia passed the baton to China, who struggled to annex itself Japan with the help of dirty Japanese traitor who struggled to sell the country, the people, your children and your future to China for a handful of money or some promised privilege for themselves? Things are getting worse because now Russia and China allied by trying together to provoke and to throw Japan in war and to destroy it and divide and annex both its territory. So we, the Japanese citizens, if we want Japan to exist, have to act urgently for defending Japan. There was a putsch attempt, a state coup attempt against Japan as country, against your freedom, against the national safety, and exactly against the existence of Japan as state. And there were killed many officials new elected in a trap, torapu, rasu, to say Japanese, sent by the Japanese traitors who called the Chinese form of the evil occult group to kill officials working together with them. Exactly as in the past, your former traitor emperor, my former husband, having Godfather Putin, worked also with the Chinese by killing together good faith patriots, Japanese young oak wars for them, and the Chinese called him our little dog. And yes, they struggled again to fault me, exactly as when Empress Michiko, before to be killed, surprised with her own eyes my former traitor husband speaking with Xi Jinping and Masakito Yamato, how to fault me, how to destroy the constitution, because then, before, there were introduced illegally change against democracy and national safety. Now they are not valid because I asked it to be declared exactly null and void because there were abusive and not respecting the legal proceeding. Now you have the old constitution without the abusive change. Since then, made and proposed to destroy the existence of states by creating the condition step by step to be thrown in war and annex Japan. And that disturbed the constitution, disturbed the enormous, the peaceful constitution of Japan and the democratic constitution of Japan. And Russia and China allied themselves against Japan, and with the help of the traitors from Japan, killed many officials trying to throw Japan in war, provoking and making many crimes, trying to destroy it nuclearly and annex the survivor. Because Sota Higurashi also fooled you and stole your freedom and democracy, creating the condition to be Japan annexed by Russia, working hardly for that. Unfortunately, exactly a religious mob, good friend with Putin and Kirill, said me that sure he won me, sure about his victory against Japan and against me, said me that Sota Higurashi managed to fool you, to win me, and is their basic pawn of Russia, and they will annex Japan And he was very happy, thinking he won Japan, and he won me too, hating me, of course. But they didn't manage to throw Japan in war, and like that they didn't manage to annex the survivors, and later to make Japan insolvable by paying war damages to others, even if they kidnapped, my late husband and tried to force him to start a war by throwing Japan in it. Unfortunately, you must know that he didn't want to be alive on his own to do evil, neither to Japan nor to me, but only through his dad you found out the truth. And only after his death I was allowed to tell you. Until then I spoke in vain, and no one broadcasted. The traitors, fooling even Empress Michiko when was alive, as even Naruhito fooled her too and killed her. So now, the big pawn of the evil-looking group, seeing that neither Russia, who my husband died, nor China after, in their provoke and struggle did manage to throw Japan in war and to annex the survivor, if any, they united their force against Japan and used Japanese traitors to destroy Japan, to steal your freedom, to steal your democracy, to annex and plunder the country together by throwing Japan in war. That's why, and the Constitution was so awkward for them, forbidding the provokes, the answer of provokes. Because there's a huge contradiction between the old democratic traditions of Japan and the wonderful Shinto tradition of the Japanese garden and the wish of peace, harmony, and respect, and also the wish of peace of the real Christians, as Empress Michiko was, and all the real religions, the Buddhist and Taoist too, because the real Buddhist and Taoist know that Buddha and Lao Tzu preached insistently peace and harmony, and although the Jew and the Muslim have the same God as the Christians who gave the Decalogue, and all that was considered awkward by the evil-looking group who work with evil spirits and drive the world deceived to destructions, and to that, honoring, as Lao Tzu said very wise, the principle of death, the in principle, or as Buddha said, only by being peaceful and fearless a man is in truth called wise. But they are exactly contrary, because their mind, that's my comment, is diverted by the evil spirits they work with. And although Buddha said another thing, only by not harming living beings one is in truth called noble. And although the Christians know that Lord called the peacemakers children of God, and as Apostle John Saint said, 1 John 3:10, in this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil, whosoever doth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loved not his brother, and he hate and want war, but between them among them they are united, but want hatred among you by divide et impera to isolate you and to control you. Try to remember a little what a blubber of Russia spread in the world recently before a few months. I quote from memory, "We will steal all what we want, we will kill all whom we want." Like that. So, some of their weapons are even called Satan 1, Satan 2, and that is when they don't act Pharisaic and use the faith for calling at war. Because exactly a Russian saint, Saint John von Kronstadt, said, "There can be no church without love, but they saw hatred." That's my comment. But those are like, said the saint, again Russian, Saint Ignatius Branchaninov, they serve Satan, quote, under the guise of a hypocritical service to God. And although, finish the quote, and although the occult evil group, including the pawn of Russia and China, are helped by those who, as in Revelation it is written, they say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, Revelation 2:9. The cunning disciple of the Lamb who served evil spirits defy Prophet David, defy Prophet Moses, but say they are Jews. And other, as in China, some mob who defy Mao Zedong, and Russian who defy Lenin, but say they are communists. So you have to be very careful. I recommend you to check well and to pray when you elect again. You will elect your future, you elect the future of your children, and even you vote for the existence of the country, and I hope that the death of my husband, pursued by enemy of Japan to destroy it, was not in vain. Now you know the truth. People of Japan, I really don't want to believe neither his death nor my work were in vain. I really don't want to believe that Japan died as country with the killing of Empress Michiko and with the fooling you by Sota Higurashi, and now with the putsch attempt of another traitor Higurashi. I think not only in my soul, but also logically, you choose to be a constitutional democracy again, a free country again. Struggle for keeping that freedom, because under the dictatorship you was very near to be annexed. And now you are still free and act against the evil. Don't forget the words of Pope John Paul II. Quote, "Evil always has a face and a name, the face and the name of men and women who choose it freely." Finish the quote. So, you know, the traitors work for the enemies of Japan, against Japan, and for the evil occult group, work with evil spirits, that group, and no one can win the evil spirits without the help of divinity if they want the victory to be sure and durable. The evil spirits are in all religions named the cunning, and even the Muslims should know their brothers Uyghurs have suffered in China, and if Japan will be annexed by China, they will suffer. If they will survive, will suffer too as them. Because the evil spirits are destructive and drive the whole world to destructions, and firstly Japan to that, and through it the whole world in world war. So even the atheists should think they are not encouraged by working with evil spirits who diverted their mind, made it senseless, and driving it to destruction, self-suggested if they don't believe, and to fight against them. The ones who want to defend Japan should have calm, calcul, and self-control, and exactly the enemy of the evil spirits who self-suggest that, even an atheist, as the devil self-suggests their enemies to the evil, it can be self-suggest in doing good. So, the self-control to atheists can be gained exactly by the enemy of evil spirits, so to divinity, the God who wants peace and love and harmony, as the old Japanese tradition. So even the atheists, I advise them to say, as Saint Sylvan advised them to say sincerely in their mind, God, if you exist, give me light, and I will follow you all my life. Finish the quote. And also he said, quote again, and God, for a sincere wish with enlight and help the atheist. Finish the quote. People of Japan, Japan still didn't die with all its huge enemies working with evil spirits. But Japan needs you, and you need God. You need light, and you need to elect the good ones who will serve the country, will defend and protect Japan, and won't keep Japan in deceptions. George Orwell said, to quote exactly, a people who choose corrupt politicians, impostors, thieves, and traitors is not a victim but an accomplice. Finish the quote. So you need light, because if the devil, the cunning one, named like that for a huge number of thousand and thousand years, named like that in all religions, will show his real face, few people would follow him as he is for real. So he is cunning. So ask God for light against the cunning. pray before to elect. I recommend even the atheists, as Saint Siluan said, to ask God for light and choose now new politicians, not friend with the old political class, but recommended by their own good deeds. The man, as Gandhi said, is the sum of his own actions. So, not to be recommended by political alms as the pawns of evil group wanted you to sell your future, your freedom, and the future of your children on a humiliation of something for a moment. So Japan needs you, and you need God, and you need from God especially light and help. So let's say now a few quotes I wanted at the start to say, and after the other issue. Abraham Lincoln, the one who said, let the people know the truth and the country will be saved, said also, almost all people resist adversity. If you really want to test a man's character, give him power. And he said also, you may fool all of the people some of the time, or some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. And you see in the world the country where power is given through deception to mob, to impersonator, deceiver, thieves of identity, and usurpers of official quality, to humanoid robots commanded by the evil local group, or to stupid ones commanded by them, as they try to do with my late husband, making him a robot. So the Occult group, who commanded all of that once, doesn't care neither if you live nor how you live, and also doesn't care neither the people in the countries they claim they represent. Look in Ukraine and Russia with their calculated war, in a much worse war, even global war. They want to throw Japan, annex, and destroy it. Finished by a short comment. Another quote, Mikhail Minescu, the country that encouraged ignorance, inconsistency, lack of character, even decorate them, prove that is in complete decay. Excuse. I have learned to hate country traitors, and there is no disease to condemn more than betrayal. Finish the quote. Euripide. It is the same thing to give to a madman a sword and to give to a villain power. So, my comment, big attention to elections and ask God for light. Saint Siluan, the universal saint called like that, who prayed for all Adam, for all religion, including for atheists, from Athos, a Russian saint on whose name Siluan Ivanovich Antonov, said, quote, we must always pray that the Lord will guide us what we must do, and the Lord will not let us go astray. Adam did not have the wisdom to ask the Lord about the fruit that Eve gave him, and for this he lost paradise. David, he didn't ask the Lord, "It is good to take Uriah's wife," and he fell into the sin of murder and fornication. Finish the quote. My comment. And David repented and served God, but the occult evil group worked with evil spirits and defied David. Another quote. To come back before to David, look in his Psalm 106 KJV 19 and 36:14 to see clear how they defy him. Another quote. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said, "To give up your freedom means to give up your human quality, your human rights, and even your duties." St. John Chrysostom said, "He who makes war with the devil keeps peace with God." Finish the quote. My comment. So the war have to be made with the evil spirits who want to throw Japan and the whole world in war, so don't confuse. Don't play their game. Answering at their war provokes. Their war provokes. Because they want really to throw the country in war. Another quote. Giovanni Falcone. The fact that things are like this does not mean that they have to go like this, but only that when it comes to rolling up our sleeves and starting to change, there is a price to pay, and then the vast majority prefer to complain than to do it. It is necessary to fulfill your duty to the end, regardless the price to pay, because that is in the essence of human dignity. And those who bow the head and keep silence died every time who did that. And it's a quote. Mahatma Gandhi. Absence of fear is the first requirement of morality. Cowards can never be morals. And Japanese wisdom, better to be a crystal and to be broken than to be a tile on a housetop. And better to die than to live in shame. Another quote. Osho. Freedom does not mean laziness and carelessness. Freedom is responsibility. If you don't take responsibility, someone else will do it for you. That's how you become a slave. David Psalm 117 KJV 8. It is better to trust in Lord than to put confidence in man. Maximilien de Robespierre. Tolerance towards traitors will destroy us all. Finish the quote. So, I'll try to focus now on another three major issues, but shortly. 1. The fake news and also betrayal made and spread in the world. by the evil local group that week, exactly in order to create the condition to make Haydn and Cunning to putsch the state cup and serial crimes, with the Japanese traitor allied with the Chinese pawn of the evil local group, because, as I warned, China wants to annex Japan. With the blessing, I say, not with the blessing, with the approval, with the consent, with the accord of the and support of all the evil local group in that. They say blessing because they are Pharisee, but cannot be blessing in evil things. So, there was prepared through another provoke the fake and betrayal spread by the group in the world and denied not enough because no one asked, although I offered my help in that. I repeat, I am here to help. And they spread that Japan will be allied with the evil local group, means with Great Britain, led by illegitimate of the evil local group who act only for interest of that group, with Australia led totally by the evil local group, with France led totally by the evil local group, and also with other countries as Canada, as Germany, and many others as South Korea, and many others led by the evil local group, so Japan are allied with the evil local group. That was the big spread in the name of Japan. And all that was spread and not denied firmly and with strong reactions against traitors in order to prepare the multiple cunning crime against the official, the huge betrayal and the state cup attempt against Japan to be annexed by China, as I warn you, by throwing you in war. The second issue, further, the necessary action for the self-defense of Japan until the situation will be stable and safe into the area. 3. The dirty role of religious manipulation in creating the war and destroying the country, and the importance of sincere prayer and faith for a real believer. Let me elaborate further a little. So the evil local group, with some traitors who spoke in the name of Japan as state, without any legal rights, spread for preparing the condition for the murders and for the putsch, for the state cup, and for throwing Japan in war, for being annexed the survivors, if any, by China, as I warned. And now Russia and China are united and support all the evil local group are supporting them in that against Japan. I warn again. And also I warn again that all the countries led by evil local group are plundered and united, and their leadership deceivers for those people, the pawn of the evil local group who saw hatred and want war but are united against Japan. They spread that week through traitors to defake that Japan sent army allied to work to make attacks, exercises, and so other allied with the evil occult group. The evil occult group who lead directly and through substitutes Great Britain, French, Australia, South Korea, Canada, and many others, all those countries and many others who are totally led through deception by the evil occult group, and that group spread through traitors that Japan are allied with them and trample of the Constitution who forbid that. I warned insistently and asked reactions and wanted to deny myself, but it seems the deceivers fooled those in charge, and I was told there is no need me to deny, because a traitor fooled those in charge. And yes, look the consequence. In the Bible, Saint Apostle Paul said, "Where or let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. There hath no temptations taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it." So, finish the quote. When someone doesn't take heed the warnings, don't forget, I remember you, God spoke to warn even through animals, even through, as example, and as to the Jews. He spoke in the Old Testament to Balaam through an ass to show him the angel of the Lord who wanted to rebuke him for sins and to get him the right way. Numbers 22. And to the Christians, Lord also spoke who adhere to the general statutes, who conquered Dacia with the Roman troops, to call him to true faith and to stop worshipping to idols. So, there was suggested by the occult group, through such deep faith not deny and know, because the traitor fooled those in charge, and with a lack of vigilance. And God said, "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Matthew 26:41. That last quote was liked much by Empress Michiko, who chose her name Nicoletta as Baptist to have the same protector as her friend Saint Father Vasile, and as me too. And Saint Nicholas loved Japan too, and in Greek his name means Nikos Laos, victory of the people. I mean, protector of Japan and of Empress Michiko is Saint Hierarch Nicholas from Miralikia, the miracle makers, not to be confused with others who say that Japan was in dark and need light from Russia. in political interest. I mean Saint Hierarch Nicholas from Myra, Lycia, Empress Michiko, about other situation, felt really insulted by the expression that Japan was in dark and need to be enlightened by Russia. Because the light is God, and God has no deal with politics. That's why it was his son was crucified, Christ the Lord was crucified instead to make compromises with Pharisees and politicians. As I said, Japan through shamans give light to the people themselves because they give light saying that God came on earth firstly in the world. When God came on earth in a holy poor baby near animals and other human beings had no place for his birth, and Herod, as the Herods of today, seeked to kill him by fooling the shamans to show him where he is, again cunning the devilish as his master, asking to tell where he is. And the Japanese shamans were guided directly by the Holy Spirit, feeling the divinity and driven long way through the shining star, as before the Jews to the promised land through pillars of cloud and fire. They gave to the Holy Child, firstly worshipping to the Savior of the world, as to an emperor come as a poor and near animals with gifts of gold, incense, and mirrors, and the Holy Spirit warned them not to say to cunning Herod the place for protecting the mission of the Holy Child. So, did Japan religious manipulation or had its own sincere faith and light and protection by God since the beginning? I think the last version. Japan needs God's help, not political manipulation, nor religion manipulation. Japan needs God's help needs prayer, and more sincere faith to all, in all religion, except in the I don't speak about the devilish ones, and like that I don't speak neither about South Korean antichrist sects founded also in Japan, called fake Christians, who preach founded by relatives of politicians of the evil occult group, preaching the antichristic symbiosis between church and state, exactly for control total of the evil occult group, but calling themselves fake Christians. Catullus said, I can imagine no greater misfortune for a civilized people than to see in the hands of rulers both the civilian and also the religious power. Finish the quote. The occult group, through that deep fake about the so-called alliance with the occult evil group of Japan, that Japan are allied with countries led by them, as Canada, Great Britain, United States, Australia, South Korea, France, Germany, and others, suggested that the people of Japan really want to be slaves and ruled by the evil local group. And you just voted to be free. You just voted for freedom, for democracy, for constitution, for peace. And they suggested that the people of Japan really want to be under the dictatorship, under the evil local group, and war, if that would be true. So I worked for you to be free and to be ruled in democracy and according to constitution, not arbitrarily, not dictatorship. You just vote it again to be free and to be democratic ruled. And according to it, if you want to keep your right, so use them. You had, if you want to change your situation and to be slave, you still have, by that vote, who you did already, the right to dismiss the officials who didn't make their duty as the traitors. You have again, but under the occupied group you won't have it anymore. So the traitors wanted to be used under their dictatorship and to be thrown in war. So if you want to be slave, use for the last time your right and dismiss me. You are still free now. After referendum you can dismiss me if you want to be slave, because I want Japan to be free. I cannot accept Japan to be ruled by the evil local group, and I cannot accept Japan to be slave or to be annexed. I only want to make the last wish of Empress Michiko to see you safe and free. But if your choice is somehow to be slave of the group, even God give to human beings to have choice, even to reject him. Only the evil group want to human beings to not have a choice, but all to be forced and totally controlled as robots, and want to be all under their dictatorship. So if you want really somehow to be the slave of the group, please use last time your democratic rights to dismiss, and the dictatorship you won't have it anymore, and dismiss me and reject the constitution you already vote. If there is lie and betrayal, just protect what you gain, protect your freedom and protect your democracy, and dismiss the traitors who work against Japan, and act firmly against any betrayal attempts against the country, and keep your freedom free and act against the lies. Don't allow the provokes, don't answer out their provokes, and if you have again the right of dismissing, dismiss. If somehow allow such things. Traitors infiltrated, dismiss them and react if they are traitors. Because the traitors want you slave, as I said. So, if you want to be in the situation, if you want not to be in the situation, as Kant said, don't cry if they crushed you, if you made yourself a worm. Act firmly against betrayal. Things are gone much too far. And now any traitor speak in the name of Japan, and Swarat provokes in the name of Japan, and help the state cup to kill officials. So I am official, still not dismissed, and I still deny the provoke dirty that Japan want to be slave, that the people of Japan want to be slave, because almost short time they just vote to be free and vote again to be free again. And Sota Higurashi, the situation of Japan was to be led step by step and prepared to be annexed, and was worse than a citizen of North Korea, who, although the country is led by the evil local group and totally under restriction and dictatorship and needs, at last have had in appearance still national identity, still until South Korea when annexed, and still appearance of constitution that Japan had not under Sota Higurashi. Your former emperor and your former leader wanted you to be slaved and to disappear from the map because his godfather Putin allied like that. And since then with China, who called him their little dog, wanted that. So, if you didn't dismiss me, I still want you free. They start to provoke Russia allied with China and start the so-called military exercise in the Sea of Japan, where I remember you, South Korea asked to United States their friends, and there are already brought in all the areas near Japan nuclearly dipped charge sent by their friends of the evil group from the United States at their request among friends, who are led by it too, and want to bring as leader the United States another substitute of devilish vassals, Trump, a monster about whose real deeds through history, as I said before in previous conference, I really don't believe that justice will show all the real deeds, horrible deeds made by him, not small ones promoted to make publicity to another impersonator or a boat or a devilish vessel to destroy the world like that. So, not only him was supported, and many of them was supported by a devilish sects. With the old name Church of Unification called Christian, who promote something like that. And all is changed with anti-Christic, promoting the symbiosis between church and state and supporting politicians who deceive the believers they are Christians and act hidden anti-Christic or the evil local group, financing that sects and supporting their pawn and their wish of total control over the society through manipulation. The Lord said, church and state shall be separated. Bible, Mark 12, 13, 17. He was even crucified instead to make compromise with political power and with Pharisees, and any Christian, if is sincere and not formalist, not lukewarm, know the words of Saint Apostle Paul about the gospel. I say lukewarm, as in the Revelation is written, 3:15, Revelation 3:15, said Lord, quote, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would to were cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold or nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth, because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knows not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayst be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayst be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayst see. But many believers are deceived like that by relatives and friends of politicians who manipulate through sects, say Christians but being anti-Christian. Saint Paul said in the Bible, Galatians 1:6-9 KJV, quote, I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is another, but there be some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Christ. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you, to that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. Finish the quote. So, accursed, not Christians. And the same St. Paul, Galatians 2, 6, 7, said, quote, be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Finish the quote. So, the ones who are fooled by the sects who pervert the gospel and the faith and manipulate through religion are accursed, as St. Paul said. And don't let you fooled by them, but pray sincere to the Lord, ask God for light, and pray sincere yourself to occur the truth, pray in spirit and in truth, as the Lord said in the Gospel, John 4:24. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, not to worship to manipulators, but to Lord. So the Christians who are tempted to be fooled, remember that Lord said, Matthew 6:24, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Finish the quote. But such manipulators fool you to serve fake God and to serve hidden the occult group, or fool the occult group, the evil spirits, the disciples of the Ram, who make hidden human sacrifice with babies and want total control over the world, while God gave the freedom to anyone to be, as I quote on Revelation, cold or warm, even to reject God. But the occult evil group want to be forced and want total control by symbiosis state religion, and said they are Christians, modifying the gospel, about which fact St. Paul said clear accursed. And Lord himself, Matthew 24:24, said there will be, quote, false Christs, false prophets. So God warned us about such things. And although St. Paul, 2 Thessalonians 2:11, God sent them strong delusion that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned, who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Finish the quote. But as Gandhi said, the truth remains truth, even if it is not seen by a majority of one. It is self-sustained, and the truth, said him too, never harms a just cause. As I said, now it is the cause of the man who want only to self-defend his national identity, his history, his democratic traditions, not to steal anyone, not to endanger neither any country nor the mankind through war as the evil occult group want cunning to destroy Japan, to plunder the people and to through Japan the whole mankind. So, to turn now our attention to the following headings. The measures. To the self-defenders in change, all the officials of Japan, I recommend you don't answer at any war provoke. Keep active the anti-rocket shields and all the internal self-defense means. If someone invade as provoke, protect internal the country and warn the people in real time. If they drop bombs as provoke, don't react with other bombs. In no case, don't answer as provoke. I recommend you, I advise you firmly. And reject the bombs, and they will pay the damage and to Japan and to the country will fall their bomb dropped by them and rejected by the anti-rocket shields. They were already warned many times. Public warns not to drop bombs against Japan. It seems they halted and interrupted the mate, the life. I come back. Unfortunately, I was halted. I hope the next one disappears. So I come back. Another thing to the officials having in charge the borders. Because of state coup attempts and the many crimes against the officials, I recommend you to keep blocked the borders until the elections for other officials instead the killed ones will be finished, saved, and the new elected will start to work in safe conditions. And I recommend also after that, for an indefinite period, to make strict control at borders in such troubled situation in the area and such war provokes until the situation will be totally safe. Because I think none of the people, none of the tourists wants to die and none of the investigators wants their business stolen or destroyed. There were recently such things. All want to live, to work and to visit a safe country. So keep the borders safe under strict control, and until the elections, I advise to block in them. And for being safe, now the situation requires that no mob to be allowed to enter in Japan from anywhere with anything and to do what he wants against the country or in the name of it as state. Thank you for understanding my advice, my recommendations. And don't despair because the evil occult group. Keep your self-control, and if you have faith, pray more. That will help you not only through the divine help, but that will give you self-control. The evil occult group wants also to diminish the world's population through the global war, and that's why they kidnapped also in the calculated war of Ukraine big children, not only babies for sacrificing to evil spirits, but in that war organized by Zelensky and Putin for years, and the people doesn't know even if once from intelligence know for a long but may calculated the wish of the evil occult group which they support. In that war, many people, many children, big children, were kidnapped, and they are under thought control proceeding inscribed in the armies of such friends of the evil occult group, born of them, friends of Russia, and after sent as cannon fodder to their calculated war. And that is also the same reason for which the Russian pawn of the evil occult group who lead that country, Russia, increased the age for calling that army. They not only endangered the people they claim they represent, as in the China with the disease created in the laboratory, well, many people die because of it and invoking it as pretext. But in Russia, not only with the calculated war and the group of penal perpetrators sent back without re-education after more war crimes, but also with those things, and in Ukraine the evil occult group with dispersion bombs, the life of human beings doesn't matter for them. On the contrary, they want to destroy the creation, the mankind, influenced in their senseless ideas by sorcerers, by the evil spirits, by devilish vassals who think the devil will resurrect them if they will die too in their hope, and with all the mob with their paranoid thoughts and pathetic for war and total control over the survivors in a so-called by them and wanted pathetic new global order. So Japan must have no deal with such ones and have not to answer at provoke to self-defend, internal, and struggle and to pray for its freedom and democracy so precious, gained again. Recently, it was the feast of Saint Elijah who rebuked the occult, entered since then to the synagogue of Satan, and what rebuked him to the tyrant Ahab and devilish Jezebel. They worshipped the evil spirits, the Baal, the ox, the sacrifice of babies as today, the murder for stealing, the theft they stole to stage the inheritance of innocent Naboth, who killed through stage for stealing from him the vineyard of his parents. And the same things do the evil group and now, and as in the Revelation is written, the ones who quote 2:9. They say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Such ones are big pawns of the evil occult group working directly with evil spirits and fool the real Jews who knows that God elected his ones and love God, but the synagogue of Satan deceive, fool them, and struggle to corrupt all the Jews to work for them, being deceived, to use them against the whole world. But what said God to Saint Elijah? Let's see. 1 Kings 19 KJV. Lord said to Saint Elijah, who seeing the huge blasphemy and the children sacrifice and the worshipping to idols of his people, ruled by Jeroboam, Ahab, Jezebel, and such leaders, and Saint Elijah asked God himself his own death, seeing the other prophets were killed. 1 King 9:4. God let him know I could. 1 King 19:18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which had not kissed him, no Baal or Baphomet, ox or ram. The same evil spirits, the same thing. And now the occult evil group not only do the things condemned then by Saint Elijah, but also want to throw the mankind through the destructions of Japan and also North Korea, another nuclear country already led by the evil occult group, but wanted to be annexed if survivors by the evil occult group through South Korea. So Russia allied with China against Japan. After they didn't succeed to annex Japan, destroy, totally separate each of them, and provoke through military exercises in the sea. But with whom fight Russia and China? With themselves? Who attacks them? Who wants to annex them? Who wants to steal them? They are the ones who plundered and their countries and want to destroy with their allies of the evil occult group by destroying Japan, the whole mankind which they cannot rule under their total control. Marvel not. Later about the warm and winter in many countries, people died of cold because they play as gods with their meteorological weapons as systems Surah and Heart, about which I explained it in previous conference. They destroy with such weapons agriculture in various countries, provoke even earthquakes, and through earthquakes, tsunami too. I think I was clear enough. You vote to have constitution, to be free, to live in peace and freedom and democracy. Since when is Japan allied with the occult group and with his spawn? With country led by substitutes and thieves of identity and usurpers of official quality. It was led by pawns of the evil occult group as my former traitor husband, and by Abe or the robot of Kishida or traitor Sota Higurashi. And like that, Japan was plundered by the evil occult group and prepared step by step to be destroyed and annexed by prohibit in war. Since then, although you vote again through referendum and chose to have constitution, the traitors are allowed by betrayal to trample on it and to throw Japan in war, trying that to give it in order to give it as gift to China and sell the future of your children and of your life, if some of you will survive. It's not a joke. Things were gone too far, and the betrayal had to be stopped. Calm, calculated, but firmly. Until it won't be too late, because they want Japan disappear on the map, and to survivors, if any, slave to China. And among you, there are traitors able to sell the country and your lives and the people for a handful of money or for some privilege of moment. Please don't answer at their war provoke, but keep the country safe and the anti-rocket shield activated for self-defense. They were warned. And ask God for light. Don't elect any more traitors in deceit, in diet, and pray for light to elect officials who love Japan and who love peace. And if, however, we'll see sometimes that we be infiltrated traitors, you are still free and according to the Constitution, not abused by them, and valid now, you have the right to dismiss the officials who don't make the duty for which they have been elected or appointed. So check and use that right, be free for real, and defend Japan, defend your life, the freedom, and the country. And if the occult evil group work with evil spirits, they drive the evil energy over the world and keep you in lies and deceptions. And as in the time of the same prophet Elijah, God allowed not to reign 3 years and half, the same thing now God allowed the evil ones to use their meteorological weapons, because there is many in the world who serve two masters, who don't believe sincerely and serve two masters and worship to him only formally, and also because of many lack or wish to follow him sincerely, many Phariseeism and lack of sincere prayer in spirit and in truth. So pray as Lord sincerely in spirit and in truth, as Lord himself asked in the Bible, John 4, and is valid for all religion, not only for Christians. Ask God for light when you will elect the official for electing ones who love Japan. Empress Michiko chose the name Nicoletta and Aiko Raffaella to have the Empress as protector, Saint Nicholas, as I said, the protectors of her friends Father Basile and my protector too, and Aiko chose Raffaella because the Saint Raphael is the protector of Japan, and Saint Nicholas too. Nikos Laos in Greek means victory of the people. And indeed, Empress and Aiko are in heaven both, and Saint Raphael and Saint Nicholas protected Japan. Although Aiko was crushed by your traitor former leader and his occult evil gang, and my late husband having the same Archangel protector, died although pursued by the occult gang, I hope they will not die in vain. Many more of the group claim they are communist but defy Mao Zedong and Lenin. Both as the Jews from the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, defy David and Moses for fooling the real Jews. So, those claim they are communist and they are not, are only devilish mobsters who work with evil spirits, and only liars and deceivers who steal and kill and plunder the countries and the various people. Mao Zedong were against the gang of swans as Khrushchev. He wrote much about that, who work for, quote, a handful of people and for the imperialists and against the people. And Lenin warned about ones like that. They are, quote, proletarian bourgeoisie, worse and more ruthless than the capitalist bourgeoisie. And to make a short reference to a Russian big painter become priest and now Saint Sergei Father Sophrony Sakharov, disciple of Saint Sylvan who left Russia exactly because such mobs and Pharisees, he said that the liberalism is with such mass meets, it's worse than the communism because of cunning manipulation, cunning restrictions, mass meat and fake values. In a word, exactly what said Andrei Sakharov, the wise man of science. Freedom of thought is the only guarantee against mass meat, which in the hands of hypocrites and demagogues can be turned into bloody dictatorship. Unfortunately, in the world, in many countries, as you see, which are ruled totally by the evil occult group, the whole population of them is divided only in two categories. The first category are the mob, the members of the evil occult group, and also the friends who help them and do mafia on purpose and serve to evil spirits and their own will, working on proposers, share of the evil occult group and friends to them, the sorcerer, the mafia of beggars, traficants, many others like that. And the second category, in which is divided the population in such countries, led by and controlled by the evil occult group, are the dependents of the mafia, the usurpers, the slave of the evil occult group, by cowardice and selfishness, who think that they will live good if they make the will of the mob, if they serve the mob of the evil occult group. Doesn't matter the reason, if the reason is cowardice, selfishness, or fear. Such ones would be better to know that Benjamin Franklin said, those who will give up to the essential freedom to acquire a piece of security at any moment deserve neither freedom nor security. The devilish vassals of the evil occult group doesn't care about the lives of the human beings, neither about their own lives, because in their paranoia they made by sacrificing babies and other human beings a covenant with the devil and think that the devil will protect and even resurrect them as his servants, considering themselves immortals. And now they are worse than Judas, because Judas found not out yet in his life about the resurrections of Lord, even had initially regrets, but not enough to repent. quote the hierarchan writer Bartholomew Anania. The demonization of Judas was done against the background of greed. After haunting his mind, the devil now comes into his total and irreversible possession. Why irreversible, you will ask me? If the Lord had held so many demon-possessed people, could he not heal him too? The difference is radical. The healed were victims, Judas was an accomplice. A covenant was made between him and Satan before he sold Jesus. Judas has sold his own freedom. God does not save man against his freedom, but the occult evil group doesn't want freedom for no one. Only God wants freedom. I quote about that for understand that the evil occult group knows very well what I'm saying, but they are so cunning so that some of them now invoke and use even the name of the hierarch, as the South Korean friends of Yong from the evil group, after killing Father Myung-den-nok, used him 10 years for fooling and manipulating the people. The difference between them, dead in the same country and in the same period, is that the hierarch and written Romanian was considered dead and declared like that, and used his name as that because they were necessary for other religious mobs to take the manipulation and function, instead him being in a conflict, and Father Noch being not in such a hierarchical conflict, was used as ally, claimed fake ally, to fool the people, although he was dead, exactly by the ones who killed him, Ryong-il and his relative accomplice for South Korea and also from North Korea. It is written in the Bible that Herod killed the babies under 2 years, thinking he will kill Lord Christ among them. And the heroes from today do the same thing unto evil spirits, thinking the devil will help them to control total and rule the world. I wish to all wisdom, light, and peace. Pray and elect the ones who love Japan, as Empress Michiko chose the name from Saint Nicholas, the victory of the people, and as Aiko and my late husband who died not in vain, I hope, because Saint Archangel Raphael and Most Holy Theotokos too love Japan, and pray for light, for a Japan free and safe and full of peace. Check well, vote through your heart and for your children, for your future, and never allow deception anymore and betrayal anymore. I will finish with the Japanese wisdom and 2 quotes of Gandhi and Buddha. The Proverbs: if the fountain head is clear, the stream will be clear too, and even a 1,000-mile journey begins with the first step. So my comment to them: pray and do it. Keep your freedom. And Buddha: One moment can change a day, one day can change a life, one life can change the world. And Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. So don't forget, come to vote. Japan needs you and you needs God. I pray for you. To all, in the name of Japan, Heiwa, peace, and I thank you.